want to stop that. Can you guys hear me? Because I just want to make sure I'm not too loud or too soft. Thank you so much, Soumya, for such a beautiful introduction. I'm truly humbled. And I'm excited to be here to see the vibrance of this community. It's really nice when I walked in how each one of you was, having the courage to stand up here and celebrate yourself. I think that's what womanhood is all about, and that's what Women's Day is and should always be about: celebrating ourselves and celebrating other women. Right? That's what Women's Day is all about. What Soumya was sharing here is her personal journey of resilience and challenges that she faced in her life, and how she overcome the setbacks to become the woman that she is today, and how she is bringing in energy not only for herself and within herself, but she's also radiating that energy outside, to people outside, whether it's kids or family or friends or communities, and how she's building the strength around her, which is truly amazing. And I think each one of us should take a lot of inspiration from her, because today's woman, just like she said, today's woman is not a woman who would stay behind the scenes and just be the wind beneath their husbands or their dads or their brothers' wings, just giving them the energy. That's not who we are anymore, right? We are ourselves. We have very high expectations of ourselves. We have very high bar that we have set for ourselves. We want to become role models for everybody around us, for ourselves. We want to be able to energize ourselves in our own low moments and think back positively and think about what we have achieved in our good times, to be able to lift ourselves up in our low times, right? So that's who we are today. I am going to take a peek at my notes because I did think about what I want to talk about. So we do want to be role models. We want to be able to provide support not only to ourselves, but also to those who we love and who we care for. We are that complete woman today who is neither selfish nor ignorant about our own selves. We want to be generating self-love. We want to be loving ourselves for who we are, and we also want to not neglect in that process. We don't want to be that woman who neglects everything else that is expected out of us. So how do we achieve that? How do we do so much? Aren't we a wonderful creation of the gods? Aren't we just amazing creators to believe that we can do everything? Everything we ever want to do is what we can achieve. That is our limit. As soon as we dream, as soon as we think, yes, we want to do this, we do whatever we can to achieve that. That's who we are. That's what a woman is. We do not want to think, oh, I fell short in taking care of my child. I wasn't able to give him or pack the lunchbox that I wanted to pack for him today. I wasn't able to be there for my husband when he wanted support, or when he came home and he wanted to talk to me about how his day at work was. I want to be the person at work, in career, flourishing, nurturing that side of myself where I walk in with my head up and feel proud of the work and the accomplishments that I have during my day of work. We want to be everything. We want to be well-rounded. So how do we gather that amount of energy? How do we become that pillar of strength? How do we gather so much ability to give, to share joys, energy, motivation, inspiration, you name it. We want to be all of it, right? While we're maintaining balance in our own lives. We don't want imbalance. We want to make sure that we have a balanced approach. We don't do one thing, too much of one thing and too little of the other. That's what we desire to be. So now we come to 10 reasons that we're going to talk about today. 10 reasons why women should prioritize themselves. Amongst everything that we just talked about, everything we want to build, we didn't talk about prioritizing ourselves. But that is the one thing that will help us do everything that we want to do. We want to believe in ourselves. We want to be able to manage everything. But if we don't prioritize ourselves, we will lose that ability to spread that radiance, right? It's very, very important for our own overall well-being, for our own personal growth, and to gather and gain the ability to navigate life's challenges. It's very, very important to prioritize ourselves. Number one reason to prioritize ourselves is our own mental and emotional health. That is the number one reason for us to be able to do that. And the way we want to do that, or we should be doing that, is to develop self-awareness. And I'll tell you what I do for self-awareness. Once the day starts, it gets pretty busy and there's no time to really develop sort of an awareness. What I do is I find additional time for myself. I like to wake up a wee bit earlier than my actual day begins, and give myself about 30 minutes, 45 minutes every morning of solitude. And that solitude really gets me ready for my life. Gives me the time to think through, what did I do well yesterday? And what do I want to be today? Who do I want to be today? And it's not a conscious choice. It's not a conscious thought that comes in the morning. It's a subconscious thought. You're giving yourself that space. You're giving your mind that space to explore. What is it that works for you? And what is it that didn't really work for you? So make sure that you make that room for yourself to be aware. That will help you generate self-awareness. That is extremely important. It even helps you recognize what is the thing that caused stress? What caused anxiety? And if that were to happen again, what would you want to do with it? So you can handle that anxiety better than you did the day before. Just use that time, because it's not going to be something that's going to be written in a book and you can just memorize it and then hold on to it and keep telling yourself, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. No. It's going to come by generating self-awareness, because every person will have a very different way of handling stress, of overcoming anxiety. Each one of us has a different mechanism. For somebody, it could be listening to music. For somebody, it could be creating a form of art. For another person, it could be just going outside for a walk. Just know what works for you, right? That is important. And that's where prioritizing yourself comes in place. That's where it works. It helps you understand your mental and emotional needs, your health. Part of that is also knowing what gives you joy. What are your emotional needs? And that's all part of self-awareness. Generating that understanding about yourself. What gives you joy? What gives you sadness? What is it that you want to do more of? Did you enjoy playing with your child? Did you enjoy taking them out for a nice play date? Did that give you satisfaction? Yes. Keep that in mind next time you need to take that out of your back pocket as a tool. That's what you want to do if you're feeling sad. Hold on to it. Know yourself. So generating that self-awareness, that's your mental and emotional health. Fostering resilience. That's another thing. An early morning exercise sort of helps me a lot. We all as women have a natural tendency, I should say, to blame ourselves for something that happens. We have a natural tendency to feel guilty about something that we said or did that might have hurt somebody's feelings. In our own perception, we're way too analytical. We are way too self-critical, right? So it's important to tell yourself, keep a very positive mindset and uplift yourself and tell yourself, no, it was not 100% your fault. It's okay, you're human. It's okay to make a mistake if you think you made a mistake. Next time, you won't do it. Just be aware. It's extremely important for your own emotional health to forgive yourself and say, it's okay, I'm human, I did it, it happens. I just don't want to do it again. And that's your self-awareness. That's what you want to generate over a period of time. So your number one reason to prioritize yourself, mental and emotional health. Number two reason is what Sonia was talking about, physical well-being. We do not give ourselves enough time and thought to our own bodies. And it is very, very important to listen to your body. And when I say listen, I know we all know that we got to exercise, we have to eat a balanced diet, we have to have sufficient rest. Those are like three basic things we all know we have to do for our health. But here again, each body has been created differently. Each body responds differently to different stimulus. How much exercise is good for you? How much rest is good for you? Are you like on the lines of being lazy or are you overactive? That's what you're going to figure out. What is it that ideal state for your particular body that works really well for sleeping? You have to put your phone away on a different countertop at night so you don't keep picking it up and looking at what the messages are. Do that. Put it aside and get a good night's sleep. You don't want to see that first blue flash of light first thing in the morning when you wake up. Put it away. Prioritize yourself. It's again for your own physical well-being, for your eyes, for your mind, for your brain, your neck, your body, everything. If you feel like gymming works for you, do it. Find time to do it. If you feel like going outside for a walk or yoga or any kind of dance or Zumba for that matter, whatever works for you, be aware and prioritize that because that is extremely important. And then out of all of those things, we'll do that. Listen to your body. When you feel like you're getting tired, or if you eat something and it doesn't feel right, more than likely it's actually not right for you. So don't eat it again. We all love fried food, and I'm going through that transition right now. I love fried food. But I am trying to come off of it because every time I eat, I'm starting to notice that there's a response that my body is generating, which is not a very pleasant response, and I do not want my body to be upset with me. I want to keep my body happy because that's the only way it's going to keep me happy. It's a relationship I have with my body. So if I give it good stuff, it's going to give me good back. So it's very important to make sure that you pay attention to your bodies. For long-term health, vitality, extremely important. Number three, I think we kind of touched upon it, increased resilience. Let's be very clear. There are two things that are bound to happen in every person's life. Every single person is going to have a fair share of setbacks. Each one of us is going to have a fair share of setbacks. We cannot pray to God every day and say, please keep me protected, and expect that God is never going to give you any kind of challenges in your life. It doesn't happen. Let's be real, right? We are going to have setbacks, whether it's in career or personal life, our loved ones. We all are going to get a fair share. Nobody knows what the formula is of fair share, but I do know that each one of us does have those setbacks. And that's why when we prioritize ourselves, we develop that resilience. we use small setbacks to practice how are we going to get up and live our lives again. Because as the setbacks become bigger and bigger, you're going to need more and more energy to uplift yourself, to get up and walk again. That's how we train our kids. When they're walking and they fall down, we don't go and we pick them up right away. We want them to learn how to get up and walk. And the more you do that, the more you allow them to build that resilience to get up and walk, the more strength they're going to get for the next time. They're not going to look towards you when they're 20 years old, that mom's going to come and save me from this world. It's not going to happen. So you have to allow your kids, we generally allow our kids to make the mistakes and learn from their mistakes in their age-appropriate period. Similarly, we have to allow ourselves, and pay attention to the word allow ourselves. I think that's the biggest challenge for us women. We don't allow ourselves to fall. We don't allow ourselves to feel like, oh my God, no, that's not possible. I can't fall down. Yes, we can fall down. It's okay to fall down as long as we can get up and walk again. That's why it's important. That's the one constant thing that will happen to each one of us. The other constant thing that will happen to each one of us is change. That's the only constant thing, right? Things will change. Circumstances will change. Your body will change. Your mind will change. Your friends will change. Your communities will change. Your jobs will change. Things will change around you and within you. You will evolve. You will learn a lot of things in life. You will move. But then, the one thing that will hold you together is that resilience. So having that increased resilience is extremely important. So allow yourself to have that. Because that's going to help you cope with stress and any kind of setback in your life. Number 4, personal growth and development. I think that's a very well understood fact. Nowadays, it's us women, and I'm very, very happy and glad that we all feel that way. Maybe 2 decades ago, that wasn't the case. And in the last couple of decades, things have changed. We have learned that it's important to continue to develop our own skills, whether it's setting personal goals is to, diet related, exercise related, learning related. I want to learn this, I want to learn a skill, I want to dance, I want to sing, I want to do artwork, I want to create an outfit for myself, or whatever, right? Whatever fosters your creativity, we need to do that. We need to continue to do that. It's extremely important. Setting those personal goals, because that gives you a sense of accomplishment, a joy, and contentment, and satisfaction. And of course, professional goals. That we have to do as part of our regular job every year. We have to set up our career goals. But outside of our job too, it's important to have goals, because that will keep your mind very, very healthy and learning based as well. So seeking those learning opportunities and continuing to do that in whichever direction that gives you joy, whether it's personal, professional, or both. So continuously not only learning, but also evolving ourselves to become a better version of our own selves. I think that is also a very good, well understood concept these days. It's great to see how each one of us, women, has, and especially social media has given us a lot of exposure in terms of what are the possibilities in this world. And there's a lot of inspiration out there which we can use and for our own benefit and continue to evolve. So use what's available to you in a positive way to evolve yourself. That is important. Number 5, enhanced relationships. Now, it may sound ironic, you're prioritizing yourself, but guess what? That is the thing that's going to also enhance your relationships. because when you come in healthy into a relationship, you are going to bring health into the relationship as well. And as a woman, each one of us is expected to do that, not only by whoever we're having the relationship with, but ourselves as well. We want to give our best to the relationship. We don't want the relationship to be a draining experience. We want it to be an energizing experience. And the only way we are going to be able to bring energy into a relationship is when we have that energy within ourselves. And the only way we are going to be able to have our energy within ourselves is going to be prioritizing ourselves. So it all kind of comes back to that, right? So very important to recharge and rejuvenate ourselves and bring the best to our relationships, whether it's our relationships with family, our spouses, our significant others, our children, our parents, our siblings, our cousins, our uncles and aunts, and families and friends, and community, wherever your relationship is with, or whoever it is with, it's extremely important because there is no point of a relationship if it's a draining relationship. And the only way you're going to energize it is if you have that within you, that spark within yourself, right? So continue to contribute positively towards relationship building is also another reason. Number 6. This was interesting to me as I was thinking through this, and I was like, I'm not sure whether to include this in the list or not, but I think I eventually ended up including it because I think that us women, we're not very good at it. And I think we need to get better at it, no matter, I think not only, let me give it first. So it's setting boundaries. I don't think we set the boundaries that well. In our minds, I think, and maybe I'm speaking from personal experience or experiences of people who have shared their lives with me, I think we all kind of get to a point where we know this is our boundary and this is how much we want to stretch ourselves, but we don't know how to say no. And that's where we just step back and say, okay, I'll just do it anyway. We know that it's going to drain us out. We know that that's not the thing I want to do in this moment. We know that this is not taking me anywhere. We know this is going to cause burnout. And yet, we say, okay, that's fine, we'll do it. That's our, I guess those are our genes. That's going to take generations to go away. Which I don't even feel it should go away, but I think there's a balance that we need to start striking. We need to figure out how to say no without hurting anybody else's feelings. And I think there's a little bit of a trial and error because it's not just you saying it, it's also how the other person takes it. So there's a little bit of experimentation, there's a little bit of trying out whether this time did it work right or not. Because you want to be empathetic towards them as well. Like even saying no to your child for a simple thing. I think maybe that's the easiest one. For as mothers, we take that authoritative role and say, no, you can't do this because, But when it comes to our friends or our significant others, we tend to give in more often. Like, okay, that's fine, I'll do it, And I'm not saying step away in a rude way and say, nope, I'm not doing it. That's not what I'm saying. But that's where that very soft space comes in where you are empathetic and you don't want to hurt their feelings and yet you want to make it a priority, make yourself a priority. Maybe talk about that, and our individual cases may be different, but think about what works best for you. Maybe talk about something that happened the day before with your spouse and say, hey, you know what, I did go ahead and do it, but maybe next time we'll do it my way. Or, I don't know, just try out a few things and see what works. But it's important to say no when you feel like it's going to cause a burnout or it's going to drain you. So maintain, I think work-life balance, I had a note about work-life balance, I think that we're getting good at it, aren't we? Are we getting good at work-life balance? Okay, good. That's good. That's good. That's what research says as well. That women are at this point getting to a point where we can say no to work and talk to our boss and say, hey, you know what, after 5 o'clock, I'm not available. I have other things to do. So I think we're getting good at that, which is great. So keep up that. Number 7, increased self-confidence and self-esteem. I loved the way, at least I didn't see all of you, but I saw a few people walk up here and talk about themselves. How often do we do that, right? We don't do that enough. We don't give ourselves that celebratory tone. That, hey, I'm a woman and I love being a woman. We need to be able to do that. We need to be able to have the confidence and stand up and talk about ourselves. There's nothing right or wrong. There is nothing that should deter you from generating that confidence, walking with your head up and saying, hey, I'm a woman and I know what I'm doing and I know what I want in my life. And I'm going to come back to the first thing I said. Prioritize yourself. Spend that extra 30 to 40 minutes every morning with yourself. Believe me, that will give you a lot of confidence. Because awareness, knowledge, understanding of situations, that builds a huge amount of self-esteem and confidence. And that shows in how you walk, how you talk, how you conduct yourself, how you handle situations. It impacts everything. So when we invest in our own well-being and personal growth, we are more likely to feel confident in life and feel capable of dealing with many aspects of life. So it's extremely important to do that. Number 8, become a role model for others. And again, this is in today's world. The definition or the domain or the sphere of others continues to become bigger and bigger and bigger. Maybe before 2010, before Facebook was even, existing, our worlds, women's worlds, were just our families and our friends, school friends, college friends, etc. And then came social media, and we reconnected, we expanded our horizons, and the world is a whole new place. You have the potential of being a role model. I love to talk to people who have a journey. I love to hear about different aspects of lives that have the potential to inspire others. I also love to be on the other side of the spectrum where I have the ability to inspire others. Because I am a woman, and I speak for each one of you in the room today. Each one of you love to hear inspiring stories. I know there was a lot of distraction when Soumya started talking, but as soon as she talked about her journey, she opened up. Everybody wanted to hear it, listen to it. They connected with her. They felt who she is as a human being. Because that's our natural selves. That's our wavelength that matches the heart, the soul, the inspiration, right? That's our wavelength. That's who we are as women. Whether you're on one side or on the other side, both sides stirs our soul. It gives us goosebumps. Either we are inspiring or getting inspired. And that is why it's important, extremely important, to prioritize yourself and be that source of energy, motivation, and inspiration for others. Soumya mentioned I did author a book. It's called Sparks. I want to use this minute, 1 second, to talk about that. I started to share thoughts with people around me every morning. Like my morning routine, I would wake up and have a spark of an idea, and I started to share that. People used to get inspired, mostly women, and then they're the ones who inspired me and said, you should publish these thoughts. They're the ones who made me do it, because it was a two-way street. I was inspiring them, and then they inspired me. So I went ahead and published those thoughts in a book called Sparks. And I read that book myself now sometimes. I will pick it up and I will read it. So if journaling works for you, develop it because it will help you. I have a short memory, so writing helps me. Like I can take notes. I don't remember many things as much as I would love to. That's my shortcoming. But then I write down. I found a way out. And then I will come back to my notes. And it all comes back to me when I read my notes. So find that workaround that works for you, right? Become a role model. And then someday, you will find role models yourselves. Or you will become your own role model in a different time period of your life, right? Number 9. I love this one. This is fulfilling multiple roles. As much as we love ourselves now, there's an aspect of self-love that we have learned to develop as women. We're not ready to let go of all the multiple roles and the multiple manifestations of life that we bring to this world. There's a spiritual aspect, there's a cultural aspect, there's a social aspect, there's an intellectual aspect. There's so many different, and of course spiritual, I don't know if I said it already, but there's the emotional, there's so many different aspects of ourselves that we do not want to let go of. And I think more than others, we want to play those multiple roles and be fulfilled in each one of those, right? And I think as women, we have that natural ability to be able to juggle between one and the other and yet give the best to each one of those. We may not be all 5 or 6 different manifestations of ourselves within the same day, but I would say within a month, or maybe if you're a superwoman, if it's within a week, you'll have, fulfillment in all of these. But don't expect that from yourself. Give yourself the time and give yourself the length that you need, the width that you need to expand yourself in all of these different directions. But like me, don't have a short memory about yourself. Somehow. And I think nowadays our phones do a good job capturing those for us. Sit down and look at yourself in your pictures and your videos and celebrate yourself that yes, I did a good job. It's important to do it. Do it because you will be happy and you will radiate that joy. So definitely keep doing it. Alright, so last but not least, prioritizing ourselves gives us long-term happiness. Now I'm not talking about instant gratification. Just looking at a picture gives me a smile. That's not what I'm talking about. Getting 200 likes on a picture gives me a lot of happiness. But no, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is long-term, delayed gratification. Something that you can wake up and feel good about a month later and say, yes, that's what I did well. Those are the things that we want to talk about. We want to look for joy, fulfillment, and contentment for satisfying and meaningful lives. Can you still hear me? Yeah. Okay, cool. Alright, is it on or no? No, it's not. Okay, I can just talk without that. That's fine. My voice is pretty loud anyway. Thank you. Yeah, sure. So I think in the end, we're almost done. We talked about 10 different reasons why we should prioritize ourselves. In the end, I will re-emphasize, celebrate your life, celebrate yourself as a woman, celebrate other women around you like we all are doing today. And for those of you who understand Hindi, my favorite quote about women is, I want to be so happy and so celebratory about my own life that I want to wish this to God. अगले जन्म मुझे विद्या ही दीजो।